Hi folks, we're live on Periscope with Chief Meteorologist Bernie Rayno from AccuWeather. Bernie, how you doing? I know you're very busy this morning.
It's been a long week, but it's been a fun week. And you know what? What's so interesting, Jesse, is that this situation along the East Coast I've seen dozens of times in my 25-year career here at AccuWeather, snowstorms, and they're all related to the models, the computer models. And you know, the old phrase in meteorology would be, the trend is your friend. The trend is your adversary that will lead you down the road of despair if you let it. Because what has happened is that, you know, the computer models were never designed to make the forecast. They were designed to be a good tool. The problem is somewhere in the line that message has been lost in the meteorological field, and it's disappointing. Because what started here has gone here, and as we talked about, we all in the office were talking about this, including me, it's coming back north. The models waffle back and forth, so you know what, it's my windshield wiper effect. And what you do is, you don't look to the right, you don't look to the left. You stay in the middle, or you stay either to the right or left, and you don't move. And that's what's going on. Many yesterday were wondering how in the world we could have, or I could have 6 to 12 inches in New York City. Actually on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, most people said I was crazy for having 6 to 12 inches of snow because I was way underdone. Yesterday, these same people told me I was way overdone. And now, boy, am I way underdone. Supposedly. Big storm, look at it, Jess. There it is. And you know, at any time with big snowstorms, you get a variety of weather with them. Look at the showers and the thunderstorms. You have a squall line west of Tampa. Look at the rain in South Florida. Thunder snow. And by the way, we may get thunder snow in the Northeast with this. Okay. Big snowstorms can have that. I don't know where. You would think it's where the upward motion is greatest, so that would be in the Baltimore, Washington area. Oftentimes it's close to where you have some kind of a boundary.
So nothing's really changed from the forecast last night?
No, I don't think so.
And for DC,
but you're going to be, no, listen, the numbers, we've been talking about this, the numbers are locked and loaded. For Philadelphia, Baltimore, I don't see changing anything. They're in it. It's the fringe areas we're talking about, which is New York City and southern New England. Those are the fringe areas, and that's where there's some wiggle room, and I do believe you're going to be hearing about higher accumulations now all the way up toward Boston. Not sure if I buy it in Boston, but I certainly buy that in Providence and Hartford, where I've always thought 3 to 6, 4 to 8, and we're going to stick with that.
So DC itself?
1 to 2 feet.
1 to 2 feet. West of
1
there.
feet. I mean, I'm, you know, when I tell 1 to 2 feet, that means I see as low as a foot and as high as 2.
Right.
You know, that's why we're in there. You
West
get western
the
suburbs.
lollipop.
Martinsburg, Hagerstown, Frederick, toward the I-81. You know, I think we're up over 20 inches, and someone's going to be near 30. It's hard to tell in the mountains. Someone could be higher than that.
Sure.
But it's a big thump.
Yep.
It is a big, you know, look, it's already thumping away.
So how's it going to go down in DC today? I mean, it looks like it's very,
you know, by
close.
3 o'clock, it's going to start snowing there, and it's going to go downhill fast. The winds start to pick up tonight. Tomorrow morning is just very bad. And then it gets even worse, I think, Wednesday after tomorrow afternoon as the storm really gets going off the North Carolina coast. Philadelphia, evening, 7 o'clock, we think the snow is going to start. The worst of it there is going to be Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon. New York City, after midnight, worst of the storm Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, but it's bad all day Saturday. Once you get toward Providence and Hartford, mid-morning tomorrow, 7, 8 o'clock, mid to late morning. Coastal parts of Connecticut, Rhode Island, 7 a.m. or so. Boston, your late afternoon.
What about just north of New York City, lower Hudson Valley?
6 to 12.
Okay.
Yeah, 6 to 12. And now as you go up the Hudson Valley, it really starts to get much less. Listen, we have to be careful. This is going to be a very, very sharp northern edge. Where you're going to see wiggle room with these accumulations that I'm showing you is from New York City and southern New England. That's where you're going to see the changes in here.
Right.
From here on down, we've put down the pen. I don't think anything's going to change because the key movement with this storm is going to be Saturday afternoon, Saturday night offshore. And that doesn't really do too much of an impact for Baltimore, Washington, and Philadelphia. That's the impact for Philadelphia, New Jersey, and southern New England.
And somebody just said, what does the sharp northern edge mean? Basically, it means it's a tough forecast, and it's a small area where it's going to go from nothing to 2 to 4 to 6.
Well, if you look at this map, I can see Boston getting an inch and coastal Connecticut getting 12.
Right.
I mean, look at this, right on the edge. Now, I can also see, I think the most Boston's going to get out of this is 6. I think that would be the lollipop. The least amount, an inch or 2. I could see taking this up a little more. You know what, you have to be careful. Listen, once this area is good, this area is, there's a little wiggle room.
Yep.
But a little wiggle goes a lot when you're talking about snow.
What do you think the chances are of more than 2 feet in DC?
50.
Okay.
35, 40, 50%. Now, that's it DCA. Let's be careful.
Right.
Now, when you get in the western suburbs, it's a better than 50% chance.
Right. In meteorology, there's more than one DC.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
So we're talking about
you know, inside
DCA
the
airport.
district is a hard place to get high amounts of snow. It just is. You know, you get to Dulles, yeah, I think there's a pretty good shot of that. You know, you have to be careful because, you know, there's a lot of hoopla going on right now with this storm. And deservedly so.
It's the first storm this year.
It's the first storm.
East
it's
Coast
the biggest.
storm this
But
year.
you know what? At this point, in my mind, DC, if they get 17 or they get 28, I know that's a difference of 11 inches, but it's really not. From the way in which people are going to prepare, it's not a big difference. You see what I mean?
Yep.
The other thing is, because this storm is going to be intensifying, it's a blizzard. Blizzard warnings are out from Baltimore, Washington, Philly, most of central New Jersey, New York City, and all of Long Island. Blizzard warnings are out.
Is it going to be that different further out on Long Island than in the city?
I don't, 6 to 12.
Yeah.
6 to 12. You may have more wind, certainly
Right.
out on the island.
How about Providence?
Providence, I'm still thinking 3 to 6, 4 to 8, but they're in the wiggle room. Now, what's the least amount I can see in Providence? 3 or 4. What's the most I can see? A foot. What do I think? 4 to 8.
We're probably going to see some power outages from this.
Yes.
In fact, we're already seeing that down in North Carolina,
Yeah,
Tennessee,
lots of
Kentucky.
ice. Lots of ice in your whole old stomping grounds.
That's
Jesse.
right.
Lots of ice down there.
I can't imagine that I-81 is going to be travelable.
I also believe that that's going to be the case along 95, all the way down toward Richmond. When I analyzed my map this morning, I knew there was cold coming, but I was surprised how cold it was. Temperatures were in the middle 20s, all the way down into Richmond, and dew point temperatures in the teen single numbers. So what does that mean? Well, what happens is you have all this cold, dry air in place. Now you're ramming this moisture northward, and you have the energy. It really is a classic setup for a snowstorm. The fringe areas are the State College,
Right.
of course, where we're
Ironically.
located, ironically.
Yes.
I think northeastern Pennsylvania, you know, this whole zone in here, more so here than back here, because I think because of the way in which the storm can change, there's more changes over here than here. So like Pittsburgh, listen, Pittsburgh itself, they're no 1 to 3. I'm getting some people tell me I'm way too low in Pittsburgh. Listen, 1 to 3. But there's a sharp cutoff here. You don't have to go too far south of Pittsburgh. We start getting into 3 to 6, and we have the foot. And this foot I could see coming up a little bit here. So, you know, Pittsburgh's in one of those fringe areas, but I don't think the wiggle room is as great in Pittsburgh and southwestern Pennsylvania as it is in Long Island and southern New England.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for all the questions, guys. We have to go right now and let Bernie get back to work.
Oh, by the way, and if you have any questions, you can follow us on Twitter. We're at Breaking Weather.
Yep.
And also, I'm at Rayno on Twitter.
And he does answer questions.
I do, although it's getting harder and harder to get pinpoint snow accumulations for your backyard.
Yeah, you guys can check AccuWeather.com for that. We've got the same info on there that Bernie's got access to. All right, thanks everyone.
Great, thanks for watching.
This is the end of this live Periscope.